Okay, thank you so much. Project and program resource management. My purpose here today is to clear up some misconceptions that we as project management professionals have about the context, content, and the extent of resource management. As we see there in our quote, organizations unable to manage resources properly have problems. And I think we've all run into those as project management professionals. When we start a project, we believe we have the resources, everything is in line. And when we get into the project, we find out that we didn't have those resources. Those resources disappear. Then we've got to scramble to find those resources. How did we mismanage that situation? What could we have done up front to prevent that type of situation from happening? That's what we're going to talk about today. If we're talking about resource management, first thing I'm going to talk about is clear up some commonly held assumptions that we have. And then we're going to talk about what exactly is resource management in an overall context as well as a project management context. Then we're going to zero in on what we consider to be the three essential aspects of resource management. Prioritization, what work will be done. Demand management, the process to collect and evaluate work requests, and also resource planning. It's important to note here that resource planning is what we usually think of, is what we usually consider to be resource management. Resource planning is only an aspect of resource management. Resource management involves much more than resource planning, just as project management involves much more than project planning. The next thing that we're going to talk about is I've listed the top 12 resource management best practices. And with that, we'll conclude our presentation. Let's talk about those assumptions that we talked about. We have the assumption, or a lot of us, that project resource management only involves tracking our hourly expenditures. The plans are largely determined on an individual project level. We also have the assumption that our project resource scope involves only tracking time and dollars, and that project resource governance is determined at the individual project level. All of those assumptions are incorrect. When we think about resource management, these are things that we are really thinking about with resource planning. That is not resource management. Resource management is a wee bit more involved than that, and that's what we're going to talk about. What exactly is resource management? Well, in a broad sense, it's the effective and efficient development of an organization's resources. Okay, no matter what those resources may be. We're talking human resources, we're talking technology, we're talking any types of resources that we use in our production processes, that type of thing. And if we're looking in a broad sense, that's what we are talking about insofar as resource management is concerned. However, let's zero in on resource management as it relates to project and program management. Two items here that we want to bring up, what we call resource leveling and resource smoothing. These two particular concepts relate particularly to project management. If we want to level our resources, we want to avoid shortages or excesses in inventory of resources. We want to make sure that we have the proper resources at the proper time. We don't want to start a project, get into it 3 months, 4 months into it, and all of a sudden find out we don't have the resources that we thought we had. We had them in the beginning, but somehow they've disappeared. We also want to reference the time it takes to complete a project. With leveling, we're looking at finish days and start days, okay? And we want to use that concept there at the project level. Resource smoothing is a wee bit different. It's a scheduling technique, and we want to meet specific deadlines while we want to avoid, again, those peaks and valleys presented to those resources. Resource smoothing, again, we're at the project level. We want to make sure that we don't have so many resources up front. For example, we're not using those resources. We've got them allocated at the beginning of the project. Something else comes up, those resources are taken away from us. Okay, so at the point in time that we need those resources, they're not there. We're going to talk about some ways to ensure that that type of thing does not happen. Let's talk about those three essential aspects of resource management. The first of those is prioritization. We want to prioritize what work will be done. What projects are important? Why are they important to our particular organization? We're going to talk about the types of drivers that we're going to be defining insofar as how to prioritize our project. The next thing that we're going to talk about is demand management. Now, demand management is the process that we use to collect and evaluate work requirements. One distinction we want to make here, and we want to shift our thinking a bit, is that we tend to think that everything that comes across our desk is a project. Okay, when this concepts are first introduced to us, let's be clear, these are not projects yet. These are work requests, and we want to make that distinction. They don't become projects until they've gone through a gauntlet of processes that we've set up in demand management and managing the demand on our time and our resources. When they've gone through that gauntlet, then they become projects. At this point in time, initially they are work requests. And then we're talking about resource planning, that aspect of resource management that we tend to believe is resource management. And that involves what's needed and when it's needed. In prioritization, let's identify up front who's going to have something to say in prioritizing our projects. We want the powers that be involved here. We want our subject matter experts involved here. These people that we identify are going to use particular business drivers to determine which projects are going to be done first and which projects are going to command certain resources. On the what end of this, we're going to specify prioritization drivers that I talked about. What are the company's business goals? What drivers are we going to use to determine which projects are going to be in priority? Okay, is it financials? Is it business?
Hi there, hope you enjoyed that last clip. My name is Michael Malutis, and if you'd like to watch the full 60 minutes of that last webcast, while also gaining complete unlimited access to our entire library of IT learning, simply visit our subscribe page at greatpro.org/subscribe. Unlimited annual access is $199 per year, but if you use the coupon code LEARN2EARN, you can drop that membership fee to just $149. That's less than $13 per month for unlimited access to over 1,000 hours of on-demand career development, covering the entire spectrum of IT management best practices, including business analysis and requirements, software development, quality and testing, risk management, process improvement, project management, and even digital transformation. But your membership doesn't just give you unlimited access to our vast learning library. You also get free access to our mobile app, as well as direct access to our network of over 300 of the world's leading IT consultants, all of whom are dedicated to putting practical knowledge at your fingertips so that you can learn more and earn more. I hope you will join me in becoming a member of the Great IT Professional and advancing your career with us. And if you're on YouTube, don't forget to hit that subscribe button above so that you get notified whenever we publish new free webcasts each week of the year. Thank you for your time and best wishes for your continued success.